to Athletics LLC with Lamar, Lucius, Big League Chew, and my man Clyde. You're about to be schooled in all things track and field. This is experience. Yes, sir. We are talking past, present, future. Y'all listen up. Let's go.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to our our boring tiles. Not one big tile anymore. Happy Athletics LLC Day. Happy Merry Christmas Day, or happy everything that you celebrate. So Merry holidays to everyone. Welcome one, welcome all. Clyde, how are you tonight, sir?
I'll be a lot better if Lamar puts the hoodie up.
We'll be able to see the sweat dripping off of the Grinch.
Right.
Lamar, the Grinch Huffberg. Oh my goodness.
Wow.
I don't even have words.
I'm doing Hanukkah too. I'm doing all that.
Oh my God. I was going to say that, but I didn't. Last but definitely not least, Sir Lucius, how are you tonight, sir?
I am doing phenomenal. Couldn't be better.
Excellent, excellent.
As Eddie Murphy said, Merry New Year.
That's basically where we're at right about now, right? Well, closing out one of our last, is this our last? It is. No, I lied. Second to last show before the new year. Yeah, I got simple math.
Public math.
I know.
She got COVID brain. That's what it is.
Yes, it is. Yes.
Oh, wow.
Yes. Fell victim to the convention COVID. So this special kind of COVID. So still in quarantine jail for about 4 more days. So that's fun stuff. But nonetheless, we will bring you Athletics LLC, near, far, and everywhere. Sand, sleet, snow, rain, it comes to you. So and COVID to be added to the list. So let's jump in the pool as we always do and just make it a fun one, since we don't have much. I mean, we do, but we don't have college football to talk about. We'll throw a big blanket over it and ask the question: who is the best wide receiver in the NFL?
Interesting.
I want to hear Krampus's answer.
I wanted to hear Lucius's answer, honestly.
Actually, you know what? That's a good place to start. Sir Lucius,
that's a horrible place to start because I don't think Sir Lucius cares, but I think that in my watching the league this year, nobody just jumps out of the screen at me, to be honest with you. I think there's some people that are doing great things in certain systems. I'm a little partial to the guys in Kansas City and Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce, but I think that, I know Kelsey's a tight end. Nobody has to tell me that. But
I like that.
I like my man Jefferson out in LA. I think he's doing a good job. But again, I don't think there's anybody that I'm ready to just anoint as the best guy in the league. So that's my answer. All
right. Since Lucius is taking a passive stance, I'm going to take a more aggressive stance and ask the question this way. I'm going to answer the question with the question. Whoever Lamar is going to give and whoever Lucius just threw out, my thing is, when you're asking, because this is a right now question, right? True. This is a
correct.
So I'm going to need someone to explain to me how it's not Cooper Kupp. Anybody?
Well, I don't have to
throw.
I don't have to explain
how
that
they're better than Cooper Kupp.
I don't have to explain that to you.
You don't? Because you agree?
No, because I was about to read to you Cooper Kupp's stats.
Well, there it is. Cooper Kupp is on pace to smash, and I mean smash, every statistical wide receiving record that anybody ever cares about. And here's the thing. If Devontae Adams was having his season, if Hopkins was having his season, if Mr. Jefferson in Minnesota was having his season, if anybody black was having his season, they'd be the greatest wide receiver in the NFL. By far, it wouldn't even be a discussion. Cooper Kupp is.
Well, before you jump on that bandwagon, I will say this: he's not on pace to break every record that is
receptions,
is feasible.
receptions, yards, and touchdowns.
He's not going to break the. Okay, first of all, he's not going to break the yards one. And if he does, remember it's in 17 games, not 16.
Hey, I don't make the rules, brother.
Well, okay, so at the end of the day, like I said, the receptions numbers and the receiving numbers are going to be inflated because of 17. That notwithstanding, I understand what you're saying. Like, let me throw some numbers in there for statistical assist to my lighter skinned colleague. I don't know if every one of y'all play fantasy football, but let me just help you. Double digits, 10 points or above is a solid, acceptable week from a fantasy football receiver. Above 20 is a phenomenal week. 30 and you're a unicorn. So let me read you Cooper Kupp's weeks by week. 35, 40, 30, his worst week of the year, 11, 16, 37, 40, 27, 20, 26, and praise God they had a bye, 18, 29, 34, 37.
Okay, so that's interesting, but I don't want to get wrapped up in fantasy stats because that's, it's fantasy, right? My issue is this. Okay. I think most people would agree that Jerry Rice is the greatest wide receiver to ever play the game. I don't usually
He's the greatest football player to ever play the game.
Now you're going to get pushed back. I'm really trying not to get distracted. Stop it.
It's just true.
Not better. Stop it.
Just
anyway,
true.
I'm going to ignore that. Undoubtedly the greatest wide receiver.
Without question.
Jerry Rice was not the fastest wide receiver on his own team. He only ran a 4.6 40. He wasn't the tallest. Okay. And he had, until Tom Brady came along, the greatest quarterback ever. So when I ask people, like, how do you determine the greatest? Is it talent or is it production? For me, that question is always answered by production because I don't care how fast you are if you can't get open. I don't care how tall you are if you drop balls. Cooper Kupp right now is the best wide receiver in the NFL, and it's really not even close. Are there faster people? Absolutely. Are there taller? Yes, but Cooper Kupp is taller than most people think he is. He's 6'2". Okay. Are there bigger people? Yeah, he ain't built like DK Metcalf, but production, it's not even close. Now, whether you focus on fantasy production or actual production, no wide receiver, if I'm correct about this, I think I am. No wide receiver has ever accomplished the triple crown, meaning at the end of the season they won catches, yards, and touchdowns. And he is right now poised to do the triple crown. No one's done it. So if it's somebody else, I need somebody to explain to me how it's somebody else, other than the fact that we don't want to give credit to him because he just so happens to be white.
Well, I don't know why the race card gets keep tossed around here. Maybe that's because that's half of your heritage. But for me,
because people don't even consider him top 10.
Okay.
Because
so
he's being hated
on. I'm not gonna go that far to say he's not top anything. I think he's definitely has to be the topic of discussion here. But I don't know why you have to play the race card here. I mean, the guy's really good. Nobody's doubting that. Not doubting that at all.
Yeah, I mean, if Cooper Kupp was green, it wouldn't matter.
Exactly.
The numbers are ridiculous.
Exactly. Let's just give the man credit for being a great wide receiver, and let's not focus on the color of his skin. That's all I'm saying.
We agree on that, but the people in the public don't. Well,
that's their issue. And again, see, I can't participate in that conversation because I haven't had that with anybody. So I'm not. You're the Twitter guy, and so you know better than I do.
I barely tweet at all. How dare you? The person on this show that tweets more than anybody is Chew. I do not.
No question.
Yeah, but a year ago you had the biggest Twitter following of any of us. So I mean, come on.
That's just because I won all the contests, as I should.
Yeah.
Anyway, next
the Twitter twitch strike again.
Well,
I'm sure that people who are probably upset that Clyde and I agree, but we do right now.
I'm shocked that we agree. So for honorable mention, the people behind Cooper Kupp that I would say is probably some order from Davante Adams number 2 and D Hop number 3. That's for me. But
I would
Yeah.
probably go. I would
like
probably
Mr.
go
Jefferson.
Devontae Adams. I'd probably go Devontae Adams, Tyreek Hill. See, because here's what I'm gonna tell you: people don't give Tyreek Hill credit for skill because he's the fastest dude. But if you watch his route running, it's disgusting. You watch him go in and out of breaks, it's disgusting. You watch where they line him up, it's disgusting. So at the end of the day, like that, I mean, a lot is always an interesting number. But I'll just say this: I mean, Terrell Owens led the league in drops a couple different times, and he also led the league in reception yards. So, like, at the end of the day, I think drops are overblown. I'm not saying, listen, your job is to catch the ball. So I'm not saying like it's not relevant. I'm just saying I'm not gonna look. D-Hop never drops a ball, but I don't think he's better than Tyreek Hill right now because we're talking about productivity, right?
I am.
I mean, Larry Fitzgerald may be the best catcher of the football, like physical catcher of the football ever. He was, I don't think, ever the best receiver in football because again, productivity matters.
Fair enough.
Interesting enough, coming into the season, Cooper Kupp was ranked 27th. Coming in, Devontae Adams was number 1.
Coming into the season.
Coming into the season, yeah. So
Which
just
makes that an irrelevant stat at this point of the season.
Yep.
And I'm gonna just venture to say that it was ranked that based on his performance, not by the color of his skin.
It was based on 2020 stats.
Exactly, not because he's white.
Okay.
Because he'll be ranked number 1 next year. Promise you.
No shot.
No,
he won't.
And if he finishes up the way he's finishing up, he'll be ranked number 1.
We'll see.
Mm-hmm.
Rankings of football players are always really weird. So I don't know if I would take that bet.
Right.
Rankings of football players are always very strange. Like, for instance, and I'm going to say this and then we'll move on. Right now, somebody who I honestly did not give this man credit until this year, but I don't know how you can be like in the top 3 in every statistical category of a position and not be a Pro Bowler. But Matt Stafford is not a Pro Bowler, and he's literally top 3 in yards, touchdowns, touchdown interception ratio, and he's probably top 3 in MVP voting. But somehow he's not a Pro Bowler. So, rankings in football.
The problem he has is doesn't he play on the same side of the league as Brady and
Brady, Rodgers. Who's the third?
Right.
No, I'm asking who's the third.
Oh, the angry midget, Kyler Murray.
There's
angry
toddler.
Angry toddler.
He's in the wrong division.
But he's not in the wrong division because look, him and Kyler Murray have the same number of interceptions, and Kyler Murray has 14 fewer touchdowns.
Of the perception here, sir.
Yeah. But that's why I said the whole.
Well, the biggest problem is
his rankings are very strange in football.
Is Brady and Rodgers. That's his biggest problem right there. So
I mean, yeah, they're a problem.
Yeah.
All right. So bringing it back into our realm, we'll come back into the stadium. Like we noted, we were all at the coaches convention last week. And so we just want to give kudos, shout out, whatever, to the Bowerman Award winners. On the female side, I think Mo won for the females. And then on the male side, Javon Harrison won. So congratulations. For the 3 tiles, I don't want to say are you in agreement, but thoughts on that?
Well, I've on more than one occasion voiced my displeasure with the 3CA and their running of this award. And this might be possibly the first year they got it absolutely right. So kudos to them.
I mean, it's probably also the easiest year they've ever had to do it, right?
Yeah, I mean, you couldn't mess this one up. Just couldn't.
I mean, a thing Mo set 6 records, and Javon Harrison, I don't think lost to a collegiate in either event. Some crazy nonsense like that.
Okay, so none of us are gonna disagree that the right people got the awards. I mean, listen, we're never going to see an Athing Mo again at this level. So I'm glad.
I would say never.
Oh, I'm saying never. We can disagree about that.
You should never say never.
I'm saying never. The unicorn is the unicorn. The GOAT is the GOAT. That is the greatest. I wouldn't even qualify it as female. That's the greatest NCAA track athlete I've ever seen. And I don't think anybody's coming after that anytime soon. So I agree with Lamar that this was the easiest, or should have been the easiest vote ever on both sides. No disrespect to the other nominees, but Harrison and Mo were just that much better than everybody this year. However, since my job around here is to be petty, there were a plethora of wannabe conspiracy theorists out there claiming that it was going to go other ways. I'm looking at you, Soul. And I don't know why there's so much pessimism surrounding the Bowerman. I wholeheartedly disagree with Sir Lucius. I think they get it right the majority of the years. There's been some missteps, but I think the majority of the time they do get it right. And I had no doubt that they would get.
We
this
will
one
have that
right.
discussion off screen one of these days. But
Yeah,
Fair enough.
I
Don't get
definitely
twisted.
don't think they've gotten it right.
because I can name about 4 or 5 times I know they screwed it up. So,
But don't get it
least.
twisted. There was a lot of people, especially on the men's side of things, that swore it was going to Hawker. And I'm like, Hawker's the 3rd best person on the dais. How's that going to work? But, I digress. Y'all were wrong. I'd love some Twitter public apologies or some knowledge on that, because y'all was strong in your belief that it was going the other way. Real strong.
Saul had the
listen,
Indiana bias though. Saul's all about it because Hawker's from Cathedral.
Oh, absolutely. And listen, if anybody was going to have that bias, it'd be me, right? I mean, Hawker and I went to the same high school, but at the end of the day, listen, I feel bad, not bad, but I feel bad for Cole Hawker, and I feel bad for Tyra Gittens, because they had incredible years, just bad birthdays. Wrong year to have those years.
There it is.
I mean, you could have missed the thing, Mo, pretty easily. Just wait a year. Right?
Well, is the only, her and Turner Washington are the only 2 returning, correct? Out of the nominees.
mm-hmm.
Yes.
So put together another campaign. In theory.
It'll be interesting.
So along those same lines, the other award that was given, or I guess recognitions, were the Hall of Fame awards. The inductions of the Hall of Fame coaches. And, something that was brought up was the titles of those who are being nominated and then inducted. Oh, I shouldn't say nominated, inducted into the Hall of Fame. Clyde, you had brought this up, so I'm going to ask you to kind of explain that a little more, or talk about it a little bit more.
No, so it was brought to my attention, and to full disclosure, I'm in the middle of trying to figure this out. I hadn't fully figured it out yet, but it was brought to my attention that there aren't any assistant coaches in the Hall of Fame, or almost none. And if that's true, I wonder if that's a matter of process, or if that's just a matter of circumstance. For example, I hope that one would not have to land the designation of head coach or director of track and field or administrator at some level to, to land in the Hall of Fame, because there are some far worthy candidates who have only been assistant coaches. And obviously, I think the name that would pop up in our heads, A1, would be Vince Anderson. Not really sure why Vince Anderson isn't in the Hall of Fame, but he should be. And we should get that nomination process off the ground immediately. But if it's
I think the argument that the supporters of the Alphabet Crew will bring is that because of when they started, there's a huge backlog of coaches that need to go in. So in theory,
Okay, so I'm going to tell you this: whoever told you that is wrong, because Dan passed in the Hall of Fame and he was never a head coach.
Okay, good.
I
Okay,
did know he was in there actually.
well deserved, obviously.
Yeah. So whoever
So
said
that
that,
is
he's the only one
not
that
a criteria.
I think he may actually be the only assistant in there though.
Well then,
Right.
well then, there you go. So I have 2 Hall of Fame campaigns that I am strongly on the bandwagon for. The original one was Richie Bean. That needs to happen. And now I am on the Vince Anderson train. Unless there's some kind of assistant bias. Vince Anderson and Richie Bean 2022 Hall of Fame class. We need to make sure we get that done. But congratulations to those who went in. Well deserved.
But back on the assistant coach topic, Dan did some great things at different schools, but there are other very, very worthy assistant coaches out there that should be,
Throw them out.
And again, Vince Anderson comes directly to mind.
Okay.
And because so let's just put this in real life terms. All right. So if you go and look at the successes that the head coaches have, there's assistant coaches behind that, right? So we can't discount the role that assistant coaches play in the success of head coaches. You can't discount that. So I think that if assistant coaches are being nominated and they're not being taken seriously, then shame on you, 3CA. Shame on you.
Do you think it's that exact dynamic that may be playing a part in this reality? Because, okay, you've been at Florida the whole time, right? Obviously, you have your own specific accolades that warrant your status there. But if at another campus, there were assistant coaches that were primarily like when a team wins, the head coach gets the lion's share of the accolades, as they should, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if it's the assistant coaches that are directly responsible for the work, the performances that lead to the points that lead to the championships, and that's consistent over a whole career, do you think part of the problem is that the head coaches ultimately take that credit as to why they wouldn't be recognized at a Hall of Fame level?
And again, I can't speak to that. All I know is like I said, if people are, I think the big key, first of all, is, are these people being nominated? But let's just talk about Vince. I know Vince has been nominated because I've nominated Vince myself, right? So the fact that he's been overlooked because I've nominated him twice is a travesty, right? And so I don't get that. That's just not right. So if there's other assistant coaches that are deserving, that have been nominated, that are being overlooked, then that's wrong. Because I don't think you have to choose to be a director of track and field or whatever, to be in the Hall of Fame. That's not right. I mean, if you're a Hall of Fame level coach, you're producing Hall of Fame level stats, then you should be invited to the dance and allowed to dance whenever you like.
I mean, I can definitely think of an assistant coach right now that just based on accolades belongs in the Hall of Fame. He would probably argue with me, but I don't think you got what? We'll say of all the events that he coaches, there's both genders. There's one event that he hasn't had an NCAA champion.
Ryan Bluetree.
Well, there you
go. We can't use the excuse that we only let retired people in because there are coaches in the Hall of Fame that are still coaching.
Yeah. So
absolutely.
The interesting part, I'm on the nomination form right now. These are the categories of which the positions that you can nominate: director, head track and cross country, head track, head cross country, assistant track, assistant cross, volunteer administrator, other. So those are the various titles that you can nominate. Whether they win or not, who knows? But the nomination form allows that for it.
Right. So it's not a process question. So it's not a they can't win process, right? So Chu, our resident statistician, I would love to know as we sit here today, how many coaches are in the Hall of Fame? And if Dan Paff is the only assistant of all those people, I think however these things are considered needs to be looked at again. Because that's wild to me.
Okay. So
Because here's
I'm just
here's
checking
another
the
perfect
last
example,
page.
right? Like, would anybody argue that Bush Exmatter belongs in a Hall of Fame of some sort?
Absolutely does.
Would not argue that at all.
I mean, I'd have put Boo in over a whole bunch of presentations I've sat through. I'll tell you that.
I mean,
So
yeah.
go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I was basically gonna say what he just said. It's like there's a whole lot of people I could think of to go into the Hall of Fame. And I never want to say better than the people that are in the Hall of Fame. That sounds so haterish, but I just mean they're equally deserving to people who are in the Hall of Fame.
Sure. Okay. So listen, if this Hall of Fame is relatively new, right, compared to others around the globe, right? So if the priority of the Alphabet Crew is to get the most deserving people in the door first, damn it, Boo should have been in a long time ago. Vince Anderson should have been in a long time. Blue
Both
Trick
of
should have
those
been
things
in
are
a long time.
facts.
You know what I mean? So I'm very curious about this. It was a very interesting conversation that I so happened to start in the earshot of and get into waiting in a line. And
So
like, really?
if my math serves me correct, don't hold it
Public
against
math
me.
by you.
I know there's 20 per page and there's 10 full pages. So that's 200. And there's 4 on the last page. So 204. And its inception is in the first class was 1995.
Yeah, that's relatively new. So
yeah.
205. If there's only one assistant coach in there, Dan Paff, I'm gonna say I got an issue with that.
I mean, yeah. There's definitely more than one of the top quote unquote 204 coaches ever that's been an assistant coach predominantly.
Yeah. So interesting conversation to follow, or topic to follow at that.
There you have it, Alphabet Crew. Get on your job.
Kind of going through and recognizing some things as well. We've talked about it a number of times in different fashions on the show here, and definitely in outside conversations, not being recorded or with others, just about the subpar performances that we saw at the Olympics from specifically the males. So with that being said, knowing that 2022, we have Worlds coming up, which male athletes, which male events are we particularly looking for some better performances? Maybe call it better results. I don't know. What are we looking for?
Well,
Who
I
are
mean,
we
I think
looking for?
clearly
Are we going
have
around
to,
the circle a few times here? Are we going one at a time and around the circle?
Well, you just jump in, I guess. I don't know.
Well, go for it, Sir Lucius.
I just don't
Well,
want
I mean, okay.
Lamar to get like top 6 answers like he likes to do, and then we don't have nothing to say.
Wow. Okay, so I'm just going to give basic answer for me is like, one, we've talked about this a little bit, and we do need to step up our game. And obviously in the sprints and the hurdles in the field, you know, just pick an area. Like there's only, like, we've got some dominant folks. I mean, you know, let's talk about the people that medaled, you know, Fred in the 100, Grant in the hurdles, Ryan in the hurdles. Where's the backup? We got Krauser, you know, and he's doing his thing, but where's the discus throwers? Where's the javelin? The pole vault has been stronger in the past. And so I think as a whole, we got a lot of places we can show up. I think I just did what you accused Lamar of doing, didn't I? So I apologize.
I wasn't going to say nothing. I was just like, okay, so we're just up to 5. Got it.
Yeah, okay. But you'll be a little more detailed than I was, sir, because that's what you do.
Would you like me to go, Clyde?
Go for it.
Well, I'm not going to pick on the sprinters because, you know, I don't want Marvin Bracey to go viral again.
And he just did.
Give a damn. Real talk though, what I'm looking for is Donovan Brazier to be back healthy, for Sam Kendrick to not have COVID at the very, very end or be accused of having COVID or whatever happened. Not 100% sure, because I feel like he never really actually had COVID. But anyway.
He had COVID.
I don't know. It was ambiguous the way he put it, is my point. Anyway, there's
it was a little Aaron Rodgers. It was a little Aaron.
Yeah,
Rodgers.
It was. And then there's the obvious, elephant in the room is like, look, I'm looking for Christian Coleman to come back and be the dude.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like, I mean, I feel like Christian Coleman is a whole lot of deodorant for some things that stunk last year. And that will be good. That will be good.
You are terrible. You're terrible.
I mean, isn't that the way it goes? Like, listen, I'm a fan of a horrible football team, right? Here's the thing. If we had a better quarterback,
So am I.
we would have won half of our games this year because we have a really good defense. And then people wouldn't be talking about how hot trash we are. When the truth is, we are. We are bad. We have one reputable offensive player, Saquon Barkley.
So we're going to continue to talk about the men's performance. See, so here's my thing. First of all, I don't think that the men's performance was as atrocious as everybody thinks it was. I think the rest of the world has gotten a lot better. And obviously a lot of this is wrapped around the relay. But, I want to see the return of the Gator boys in the triple jump. I want to see that. They get back to where it is. And for gosh sake, can we act like we are what we used to be and be the dominant country in the freaking long jump? Because it's not that they're jumping that far, it's just that we're not, in my opinion, anyway. I
mean, the long jump and the 400 literally used to be gold medals you could just write down in pen.
Exactly, yes. And they're not anymore. And we got to get back to that. And I think that, the problem for me is that I just don't see, I need to see Devin and Daniel step up, right? It's time. Devin had a great postseason, but there used to be a time when the USA had 2 or 3 medals every time, and it wasn't uncommon for us to sweep the high hurdles. And obviously, if we're going to get in the fray in the 400 hurdles, we got a lot of work to do because that event is, yeah. But Clyde, I'm sorry, we're kind of not letting you talk right now. I apologize.
Oh, no, you good. You good. So, should repeat the question for me.
With the subpar performances that we saw at the Olympics, specifically for the males, with Worlds 22 coming up, what events, which athletes are we looking for some better performances, better results from?
So the term subpar is definitely subjective. And what I'm looking most forward to are not specifically the quote unquote worst of the situations that went on this summer. Arguably, they're some of the best. But if I look at the question in terms of subpar, what Grant did in the Olympic final is beneath him. And he is so much better than everybody else on the planet. I am looking forward to watching Grant Holloway in the Cathedral not only win, but win by the margin that he is deserving and capable of doing. Like, I want him to put this to bed in only the way that Grant Holloway could. I want to see that. I want to see Rye step in to the full development of what he can do with that event. Because if he doesn't, we know that he can do something never before seen and oops, lose. Right? So I want to see those two people specifically be the men that they are capable of being, because at their best form, they're the best we've ever seen in those events, I believe. And so, there's a lot of smaller issues that went on that I could nitpick at and probably will, but those two guys, because I think they're the best that we have, period, I want to see them dominate in ways like Ryan Krauser dominated his field this year, because they can. They are capable of that. And so that's what I want to see. I want to see the best of what we have carry it that way. Yes, Christian's return is very intriguing. I am, our sport is very much, what have you done for me lately? And until I see evidence that Christian is in the form that he used to be, I'm not convinced that it will necessarily go that way. But it's intriguing and I'm here for it. I think the men's 200 from an American perspective is wide open, not because it's wide open, not because it's weak. It's wide open because it's awesome. Like, you could have a 19-7 type dude not make the team. That could happen. So, I'm very intrigued by what our 200-meter situation looks like. I look forward to us sweeping the men's 200 because we should. The men's 400 looks a little weak from an overall perspective, but I don't think Michael Cherry is going to be weak. And I'm very interested to see what Michael Cherry is going to do with the momentum that he carried through this entire season and the way he ended it. I'm very intrigued by that. I agree with the long jump, triple jump situation. And I don't know who per se, but seeing as how, we are at the cathedral, seeing as how this is the first time a world championships has been held on American soil, I would love to see the American male distance runners have something to say. I'd love to see that happen. Right now, the 800 isn't really considered a distance race anymore. And, I think we're all looking for the return mentally, emotionally, and physically of Donovan Brazier because he's awesome. But, 1500, 5K, steeple, 10K, I'd love to have the Americans have something to say about that.
I'm so glad you said that. I would say this. I think the three situations I'm most looking forward to seeing how they emerge this year, in this order. Number 3, whether Cole Hocker and Matt Centrowitz, probably the 2 best American kickers we've ever had, can produce medal performances on their home tracks, literally. 2, I'm very, very, very interested to see what a fully operational Death Star version of Mr. Turner looks like this year, because let's not forget that young man is a 70-meter discus thrower and a 72-foot shot putter. So I am without question waiting to see what that's going to be like this year if he's fully healthy all year. And then lastly, and I think you don't love track if you don't love this guy, but Javon Harrison not having to do all that he had to carry for LSU last year, I just can't, listen, there's no ceiling to that. Like, if you ask me, can somebody jump 28 feet and 8 feet in the same year? I'd be like, no, you're high for asking that. But the truth of the matter is, if you've seen him do either thing, you know that both things are possible. So I'm interested to see who he is as a pro, whether he continues to try to battle through both. But the career of Javon Harrison is one of the most intriguing things probably in the entire sport of track and field for me to see. I want to see what that becomes.
Interesting.
It's all good.
I think there's a lot. Yeah, I mean, a lot. And we'll see how that pans out. And
I'm sorry, because we all just sidestepped this and there's no way we're getting off of this. The most immediate thing we're all waiting to see is who's going to be coaching the relays. Get it right. Get it right. Because let's not get it twisted. We can get all the medals we want. If we don't fix that issue, that's the only conversation that's going to be had. So get it right.
Listen,
I wonder if that.
Leslie Jones and Kevin Hart are waiting.
Right. Only they'll be in person. They'll be on the field.
They will be on the field.
Yeah. Well, and
I
again,
wonder if that's going to
that'll
be
be
announced
interesting to
with the
see.
rest of the team.
I doubt it. They'll probably bring
Who
that
knows?
I mean, I feel like Sir Lucius already knows. He just doesn't want to tell us.
I mean, I wasn't going to say that out loud, but. Oh, goodness. Oh, goodness. All right. So opening the floodgates a little bit more than the previous question. Who has the most to prove in 2022, male or female, or male and female? Put it that way. You choose. You pick your poison.
I mean, is there more than one answer? It's not Sha'Carri Richardson?
Yeah, you're going to say that she goes right to the top of the list, right?
I mean, if the question is who has the
yeah.
most to prove, I don't know how there could be an answer different than hers.
Yeah, I mean, I think she's the obvious answer, but then you got other folks. You like Grant and Rye have things to prove. You know, I think Christian Taylor, Will Clay have things to prove. I think clearly Michael Norman has something to prove, as does
That's a big one.
Donovan Brazier. You know, there's some people out there that I think that I would think that one Miss Quinera Hayes has a little chip on her shoulder. You know, after what happened to her, with obviously not running well in the final, not being able to run the relay, I think that she obviously has, something to prove. And
she got the biggest chip,
after this
sure. She got the biggest chip on her shoulder, sure.
Absolutely, yeah. So I think that, and that's just from the American perspective. I think that somebody that people need to keep a really close eye on is Miss Bowl. Well, I'm sure I'm butchering her name, the 400 hurdler, because she just gets better and better and better.
Mm-hmm.
And let's take it a little bit down to let's throw some collegiate flavor in this. Clearly, Abby Steiner has shown that she has superstar type talent.
Yes, sir.
We got to show up and do it on the big stage.
Mm-hmm.
She has shown she can be a rock star.
If she's healthy, I'll say it like I said it last year. If she's healthy, no way she's off that team. She's on the team if she's healthy.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when she gets there, that's when she will, at that moment, have things to prove. But,
well, don't you by definition have things to prove when you ran the fastest 400 in the entire world and don't make it out of the first round of the Olympics?
Yeah.
I mean, I look, y'all know I love Mr. Ross, but I mean, that's definitely somebody who has something to prove. And, look, we skirt around him sometimes, but I mean, hell, let's just be honest. Christian Coleman has things to prove.
Well, see, okay. I don't disagree with you.
I'm not sure what Christian has to prove other than he just needs to turn in his whereabout forms, and I'm gonna leave that.
Right. Like Christian has to prove
other than that,
professional.
Exactly, because Christian, when Christian is healthy and shows up, he doesn't have anything to prove to anybody. But okay, he needs to be more professional. And but I would say Shamir Little goes to one of the top of that list as well.
See, right, and that's actually I wasn't thinking of Shamir, but that's the kind of answer that I was thinking of. See, to me, for me, and other people, maybe y'all might disagree with me on this, but in our game, in our sport, in our world, medals are how you are ultimately defined. So to me, if you have a medal next to your name, I'm not going to throw you in the box of you have something to prove per se. Like, I get that you could, like, you got a silver, you wanted the gold, you got the bronze, you wanted the silver. I get that. But there are so many people who don't have any of that. They're first in line with, you got something to prove. Especially,
that's fair.
Especially if you're the type that runs your mouth. You know what I mean? So it's those people that have the most to prove for me. But if you got a medal, like, hey, you do your thing, right? Christian got medals. Like, bro, be a professional. And you're good.
What about your preseason favorite for the 100-meter gold medal last year? obviously he's got things to prove, right? He ran 976 and 977 last year.
Well, Trayvon also has medals. So he got a little
Medal.
something. He got a medal. He's got a medal. But
7 years ago.
hey, listen, 7 years ago.
Hey, look, see, I am not going to allow you to pick on everybody else's people and not pick on your own. That is totally beneath who you are and how you handle your business.
Is.
I want you to be
I don't
the
understand.
hold on, yeah, of course you don't, because because that's what you do. So I want you to be the same petty guy with that dude as you are with everybody else. Maybe you're afraid he's going to call you out. At the end of the day, I know you know. I'm just picking at you right now, and I am not picking at Trayvon Bromell or his coach or
at
anybody
all.
else.
Neither am I.
But the end of the day is
I'll make
he
it simple
needs to
for
be
you.
on the list.
I'll make it simple. I'll make it simple for you. The entire Tumbleweed Track Club, with the exception of Andre DeGrasse or Ali, has things to prove. How about that?
Wow.
I mean,
that's simple enough.
Yeah,
that's not
that's who
fired.
you
That's
are. See, now you're back to being who you are.
Andre and Nia, nothing to prove. Everybody else, let's go.
And that's fair. I mean, like, it's fair.
Though, and I don't even know. I hope there's a Nia Ali return on the menu this year. I don't know if
we all do. We all do.
Because I don't know if there is.
Because Nia just brings something. She brings something to the fray, doesn't she?
Right.
Like, if Nia makes the USA final, good luck keeping her off that team.
The game
that
misses
would show. Yeah,
I got a really good one to add to this list. And his best lifetime performances happened at the former version of the Cathedral. One Mr. Jerry and Lawson.
Oh wow, yeah.
Sure.
Hey, and I'll add one. I add one of our guys in there, Marquise Dendy.
Okay. Yeah.
Right.
Now,
like
see,
both those dudes are otherworldly talented, and we all it's like we're all tapping our toes, like we're waiting, because we have the crown ready to give to you.
Now, see, I'm glad you put that in there, because I wasn't even thinking about that. Dendy's in that box I was talking about, right? Mad talented. He's definitely had a bunch of horrific injuries. We all understand that. But mad talented, has made the teams and talks a lot. So I'm gonna need Dendy to come through with one of these medals. That's got to happen.
He will gladly accept that challenge. I'm gonna speak for him on that one. He'll gladly accept that challenge.
I am a massive Marquise Dendy fan. Massive fan.
As am I. As am I.
Got it. Well, that
I mean, yeah, for sure.
We'll graciously bow out of our topics on that one, because that is a high note and some great call outs, challenges, call them what you may, in positive manners. So please clip that and make that go viral.
Right?
Exactly.
Right? Clip that.
Well, there were at least two clippable items. One, I think, will be on the more negative side.
Because here's the thing. Like, we all grew up in a time when, like, there was no event that was a gimme for the USA, especially in the sprints and hurdles, right? Like, you had to run 13.0 or 12.9 to make the team. You had to run 48 low, 47 high to make the team. You had to run 43 to make the team. You had to jump 28, 29 feet to make the team. We want to see that again. Get back to that. That's all we're asking. So if we put you on our list, we think you can do that kind of stuff, And so I want to put this out there about the men's 100, and I'm going to follow the EP's instruction and let this roll along, okay? There are 11 men in the USA who have PRs at sub 990 and a 12th that's at 991, okay? We got to show up and do it. We cannot be EP. What can they not be?
Can't lose to the Italian.
They cannot be Fugazi time travelers.
There you go.
And it happened.
It happened. I poked that bear. I
answered.
apologize. I poked that bear.
Listen,
You basically.
I need the rest. I need all of our followers and listeners, including those wonderful gentlemen who I think the world of, to understand my heart on all of this. I am an incredibly prideful U.S. Olympian. On my business cards, I was like almost tearful that I got to put OLY behind my name. I want to see us be the big bad wolf again.
Yes.
Right? Like,
so I want to say something here in your defense, EP. The EP is a big Marvin Bracey fan.
Huge.
Has been for a long time. And there is no bigger Trayvon Bromell fan than Clyde. They don't exist, right? So nobody's picking on anybody. And to my knowledge, Clyde is, pretty big fan of a lot of people in the Tumbleweed Club. He just wants them to show up and do their job. That's all. Yeah.
Absolutely.
I mean, that's where it's at, right? Like, look, people need to understand, like, I'm a huge track and field historian, and we need more Danny Everett's and I'm trying to think of monster people who got Joe Greens and Leroy Burrell's, like people who put up monster careers who lost a U.S. championship because they got, you know what I mean? Like we were so deep that somebody was better than them and they were great amongst themselves, right? Like that's what we need.
There are people, older guys. I'm going to go to a guy that, and I don't know exactly what his PBs are, but he's the dad of the Lyles brothers' dad, Kevin. Kevin, if I'm not mistaken, was a 44-something guy. Today, Kevin's a beast. Back then, it was like he was just Kevin, right? So
let's take the obvious one, Andrew Valman. How good is he if he's out now?
Oh, if Andrew's the guy right now, like he's the guy because Andrew's going to show up at the show and get it done. Like that was Andrew's deal. Like Andrew was never the guy he wasn't afraid of anybody. And that's what we're trying to say here. We need to get back to those days where you come to the meet and go, man, if I don't run 44 mid, I'm not making the fun. If I don't find a way to run 43, I'm not going to be in the top 3. We got, the 100 guys, they run fast at our trials. Now we got to go to Worlds and Olympics to get it done. Yep.
Just being accountable.
Yep.
Don't get your butt hurt. Accountability.
Accountability, baby.
DYJ, do your job.
All right. Well, we are back to our order. Let's call it that for rapid fire. So the Grinch is in line. So I can't remember the Grinch song. I was going to try to rattle it off for you, but I don't remember it yet. No. There you go.
Mr. Grinch.
All right. Hoodies up. You ready, sir?
Up. Yes.
Whataburger or In-N-Out?
In-N-Out. Stop it.
Pulling it back in the 90s. Who was your favorite and one player? I guess early 2000s.
Listen, you are right in my wheelhouse. I love every single one of them, but I'm just gonna say this right now. If the professor is not your favorite, you're a racist. And that's all you could be, because at the end of the day, look, hot sauce was disgusting. Escalade was hilarious. Duke Tango's probably the best non-hooper in the history of basketball because, oh, baby, is synonymous with the 90s, right? And it's a black man running around with a rainbow wig. But the only question you can ask yourself, you go back and watch the and ones, right? Because I was all about it. The professor got on the bus on the first stop and had to defend his spot every single spot from one side of the country to the next. And he cooked everybody. And at the end of the day, if you don't think that if your question is not how did he not play in the NBA, then you don't like basketball. Because I swear, I think I've seen that dude miss 3 jumpers ever. There's not a person who can stay in front of him. So I'm sorry, it's the professor.
The short answer. He's still around, believe it or not. He actually still does appearances and is on social media, FYI. So you can IG him.
No, he plays wide receiver for the Raiders. It's Hunter Renfrow.
Shut up. Anyways.
Look at them. It's the same dude, I swear to God.
For Christmas, fake tree or real tree?
Okay, again, I don't understand fake trees.
Oh, they're awesome.
It,
They're
For
incredible.
those
No.
with allergies, they make sense.
and you know what? I'm not one of those people, so I get it. But yeah, real tree. Simple
Okay.
answer.
Have you ever seen the ballet Nutcracker? The
Absolutely.
Nutcracker. Got it. When you travel, duffel bag or suitcase?
Oh, that was the question. Got it.
Yeah.
I thought there was
Question
a
mark.
follow-up question. I was like waiting for
Question
like
mark.
toy soldiers or something.
No, it's rapid fire.
Yeah. You said duffel bag or what?
Suitcase.
Suitcase. And no professional track athlete had better give a different answer than suitcase with wheels.
Okay. Cookie Monster or Oscar the Grouch?
I mean, if you know my personality at all, obviously Oscar the Grouch.
Eggnog or nah?
Eggnog for show.
Last but not
Spiked
least.
and non-spiked, both spectacular.
Online shopping, you can't remember your 3-digit code. Are you getting your card or skipping the purchase?
Ooh, probably gonna skip the purchase.
All right.
I
Those are
look
my
at those things as signs from God that I'm not supposed to be buying the superfluous thing that I'm currently buying.
You have survived. I would like to note that I'm on, what is it, day 6-ish, day 5-ish of quarantine, and I have not made one online purchase. I need kudos for this. I have not made
No
one.
strength there ever was.
That is spectacular. I do think, however, you have scrolled to the end of the internet.
You know, well, I gotta find 2023s out there. So, anyways,
Oh,
Yeah, she's totally
moving
the
on.
whole time.
All right. So, finishing up with heartbeat props this evening.
I don't get
Giving
my
out.
extra questions.
Oh, just kidding. I forgot. I lied.
Lucius, I know you got at least one good one for somebody dressed like that.
No, I don't really have a great question, but I would like to know what inspires a grown man to buy such a thing.
So I'm going to give you an honest answer, and there's going to be an Instagram post with me in this. When you are as competitive as I am, when someone has a competition for best or worst thing worn at an ugly sweater competition, like, this is what you get, right? Like, I saw it in the store. I was with someone who was helping to host the party, and they basically were like, "You won't buy that." I was like, I mean, I said, "The F?" And they're like, "Nah, you won't buy that, and you certainly won't wear it." I was like, "Oh, I will wear it. I'll wear it in public if I have to." And so then I did.
It's a onesie, right?
It is absolutely a onesie. It's warm. It's actually hot, truth be told.
I can't.
Okay, that's a good answer.
All right. So my question is not in the spirit of rapid fire, but I feel like he said this so well last time and it got cut off of our previous broadcast. I want to give him an opportunity now to have his moment.
Oh boy.
Sir, my partner in crime, we are officially retired after 7 years of dominance.
We are.
The floor is yours.
I guess I just want to say to all the people out there who are both fans, haters, passersby, pretenders to the throne, those of you who claim we was gonna get y'all, but listen, I understand. I was gonna beat Dan O'Brien, and at the end of the day, I didn't. Right? And I have to wear that. Right? He's like the only decathlete from my era that I didn't beat. Hey, you know what? It is what it is. 7 years speaks for itself. Our skill level is above reproach at this point. And I do really believe we were starting to cause some legitimate ruckuses and consternation in the community. So in the interest of sewing things back together and being givers, going forward, Clyde and myself will be co-hosts of the annual Athletics LLC Spades Tournament. It will be done by brackets. Applications will be open starting January 1st.
Oh my gosh.
There will be a cap on the field of 64. There are no 65 through 68 play-in games. But at the end of the day, we will be there for all games for the championships, and we will pass out the awards. There will be some Athletics LLC swag available to both purchase and win, and I think it'll be a much better time for those who are in the general presence of both Clyde and myself when they can see how amiable and wonderful our powers are when they're used for good. Because at the end of the day, I don't really like who I am on the spades table. I don't think that I know for sure there's at least one individual, but there are probably several individuals that really don't like who Clyde is on the spades table. I have a scooter at my house that I now have to send back to San Jose for Clyde's now healed employee. Listen, look, there was a gentleman who came to the convention this year who had recently torn his Achilles. I said, well, why don't you have your scooter? Because I know for sure that you're too close to post-op, that you're not supposed to be out here. And this is what he said to me. I'm not trying to show up to the convention with my scooter and then have you take it in a spades game. So listen, I love you all. I love you all. And the retirement is going to suit Clyde and I very well. And we look forward to passing the throne on to others, having a much more enjoyable time at the convention.
Do we both have applications open for new partnerships?
I honestly, personally believe that we should retire, period. Because the issue is that who we become on the spades table is the problem, whether we're together or not. And I think it's important that we just not do that any longer.
Sir Lucius,
yes, sir,
yes.
Sir Lucius.
Can we do heartbeat props now, please? Please, can we do heartbeat props?
Lucius, that was a great question.
Totally out of hand.
I don't understand why Sir Lucius has never jumped on the spades table.
Because I've never been given the chance.
You're in. You just gotta get you a partner.
There you go.
Okay. So first of all, I'm not. Okay, I will get a partner and play you guys, but I will not participate in this foolery to have to play somebody to get to play you guys. No, not doing it. So we're not going there.
You know what?
It is time for heartbeat.
We are open to exhibitions, so maybe that's what we'll do. Okay. As a free exhibition, Clyde and I will play Sir Lucius and his partner of choice. How about that? Because I know that we won't be that way with you.
That's fine.
Oh my gosh.
And if you are, I'm fine. It won't rattle me. But can we?
Oh my God.
Because
I just unpacked all the petty in my soul.
Jeez.
That was tremendous. Thank you very much.
Just what Clyde wanted you to do.
Absolutely. That was awesome. Thank you. That was what was in the cup.
Oh my gosh. And before we wrap up with heartbeat props, just showing off Clyde and I's garb. Sir Lucius's is very apparent. So we in holiday spirit.
That's all I got. I got the hat,
on.
I got the beard, I got these. I think these light up, but I don't know how to turn them on.
Lucius has some house lights and a UGA colored hat on.
Yep. It's not you. It's not you. It's not UGA, but it's okay.
His answer was yep. And sold.
So heartbeat props, lifting up those who can hear it now and just giving them some kudos while they're here to hear them.
Is it bad form to be petty in your heartbeat props?
No,
Yes, very.
no,
Oh,
not
okay.
at all.
Okay,
Not
then
at
I
all.
won't be.
Not at all. In fact, go ahead.
You know,
I
with
will
that.
not. I will not. But I will go first. I will go first.
You're wearing the Grinch.
For real.
You're required
real.
petty. In your
I
props today.
for real. I do want to give heartbeat props to all the fans of the show. I don't know if you could tell because I try to be cool, but the live episode really got to me from a positive perspective, to actually see faces light up, to see us do our thing, and to be excited to be out there and be quote unquote in our presence. These are words other people used. I just think that's awesome. And to those who wonder, how long can we keep this up? I mean, as long as we feel like it. And thus far, I don't think anybody has any desire to go anywhere. You know, I know the governor was quite upset that he wasn't on the show tonight. He had some things he had to take care of. You know, life happens. But the show will continue in perpetuity, as far as I know. So that's a thank you to everyone.
I don't think my heartbeat props are petty. They're not meant to be. Definitely not. My heartbeat props seriously go out to all of my colleagues who are currently in a situation where they are now having to deal with COVID, coming back from the convention, which respectfully seems like it turned into a little bit of a super spreader event. I will say this, and I truly mean this. Obviously, I hope everybody good health and a quick recovery. But the convention was great. You know, we hadn't had one in a while. It was good to see everybody, but there was a lot of recklessness going on, a lot of poor decisions being made, and you know, to everybody out there, and I say we because we were all there, right? Some of us are suffering from it. Some of us aren't. We got to do better, people, because if we don't act like our season ain't gonna go away, because it absolutely can, and no one wants to return to that reality. So, you know, to my colleagues that are suffering through this, I wish you health and a speedy recovery. I damn sure don't want to lose anybody to this disease, to this variant, to this pandemic. I've already known too many people personally that have passed, so it's still a very scary time. And as we get ready to, you know, get into indoor, we have to be the leaders for our kids, and we have to make better decisions, because it can't be, we just can't be as reckless as a lot of people were being in Florida. This thing is still very real, and in certain cases it's getting worse. So please, we all want our seasons, and we all want our friends and families to be around. So we gotta do better,
And I'm gonna make mine short and sweet, because that's exactly where my heartbeat props was going, to those who are suffering from this. Not just in the track and field community, but people all over the world who are suffering through this new variant. And no matter what your thoughts and beliefs are, this thing is real. So please do what it takes to take care of yourself, take care of your friends, take care of your family. For those of you who do have it, please get well soon. And for those of you in the track and field community, please behave yourselves, because as my man Clyde said, we put a lot of hard work in it. We don't want it to all go bye-bye because people don't want to be compliant or serious about what's going on.
Yep. Last but not least, I'll go. Just wanted to say thank you for those who chose to come to my roundtable at the Women in Coaching Symposium. I felt whether you got there because that was the only seat left or because you actually chose, I'm appreciative, because I've gotten a few emails and stops while we're still in Florida in regards to things that were spoken to. And those touched my heart, because I just want to help whoever I can who will let me. So thank you to you all. I hope you all enjoyed yourselves and the things that I was able to bring to light actually resonated with you. So other than that, gentlemen, another fine episode, another great holiday with you all. But other than that, we'll see each other soon. Have a great holiday coming up. Be jolly, be great, be safe, and stay healthy. Bye, everyone.
Get your boosters.
When the lights come on, the road just get to running. When the lights come on, opponents mess the plumbing. Heard you like it warm, hot, knife the butter. Truth hit 'em hard, knock 'em off that rebuttal. Tsunami, tidal wave to your puddle. Tough love, punch you in the arms, little brothers. Athletics, LLC, there's no others. Track and field's pacing, we're peeled to go further. Hey, Wile E. Coyote, it's road runners. Feels like you know us, you've been with us the whole summer. If not for this quarantine, these four corners wouldn't be here, but we're here, so start learning. You gotta earn your stripes, gotta get your scars. Show you how to fight, but show us who you are. You lack experience, but still you wanna talk. And who is actually talking to? Your circle's kinda small. Heads prevail when the backbone's strong. Gotta keep it coming, no, it won't last long. Pass and fail, then sell the sad song. And if you don't check yourself, then that's wrong. Just trying to give you the real that you asked for. So why you keep cutting us off to ask more? We put it in slow-mo, but you fast forward. Athletics, LLC, the task force.